Life is long, shaving is intense.
So Rachel McAdams turned down the intensity of her Bustle magazine photo shoot by putting down the razor.
If you want to stop shaving again one day, that's okay too.
In their interview with Rachel, Bustle magazine writes that Rachel requested that the images be edited as minimally as possible. I doubt that was the wording of the request because that is very subjective of what minimally means. I have no doubt that Rachel made it very clear to Bustle to not digitally remove her underarm hair. Let me know what your thoughts are on Rachel's hairy decision, but if you think that's Rachel really going against the grain in Hollywood, oh, that's nothing compared to what she's done throughout her career, and even before her career started in school.
I auditioned for a play called Texas Boy. It was a two-hander, and I was shaking like a leaf.
It's not shocking that Rachel got the part, but it is shocking that Rachel didn't end up playing it.
And I wanted to play volleyball instead. Like I was having an existential crisis whether to do drama or volleyball, and I chose volleyball, and I was worried that I would never act again, and now I act all the time and I never play volleyball.
Well, she doesn't act all the time. This started a trend for Rachel in turning down golden acting opportunities. So after exploding in Hollywood with 5 films over 2 years that are still talked about today, starting in 2004 there was Mean Girls and then The Notebook. Then in 2005 it was Wedding Crashers, Red Eye, which is a fantastic film, and The Family Stone. After that, Rachel literally had Hollywood at her mercy. Like she could do whatever role she wanted. Well, what Rachel wanted was to peace out. So rationalizing that decision now, she tells Bustle, "I felt guilty for not capitalizing on the opportunity that I was being given because I knew I was in such a lucky spot. But I also knew it wasn't quite jiving with my personality and what I needed to stay sane." To keep her sanity, Rachel turned down a role in Casino Royale, which you have to assume was the role played by Ava Green. She dared to say no to Tom Cruise for Mission Impossible 3. I haven't seen any confirmation over what role she was offered, but there's 3 significant ones, played by Maggie Q, Michelle Monaghan, and Kerry Russell. I doubt it was Kerry's because while it was a memorable role and important to have a known actress in that role, it wasn't a very big role. I think Kerry ultimately did it because of her Felicity connection to director J.J. Abrams. I'm guessing it was Monaghan's role, but yeah, that's not a big loss for McAdams. Now Rachel does say to Bustle, there's certainly things like, I wish I'd done that. I'm guessing she's talking about turning down the role of Andy in The Devil Wears Prada, which was ultimately played by Anne Hathaway. But Rachel does add, I step back and go, that was the right person for that. While Rachel did ultimately join the Marvel Universe in 2016's Doctor Strange, the studio was initially a casualty of Rachel's peace out when she turned down the role in 2008's Iron Man. If it was Leslie Bibb's part, yeah, not a big loss. If it was Pepper Potts, the role that Gwyneth Paltrow went on to play in 7 movies, ouch. Rachel also turned down Get Smart, another role that Anne Hathaway ultimately played. I think you have a thank you card to write, Anne. Now, not only did Rachel turn down some very high-profile roles, she literally walked away from a very high-profile gig, actually a potentially career-ending decision. Rachel was slated to appear alongside Scarlett Johansson and Keira Knightley as part of the 2006 Vanity Fair cover featuring Tom Ford being shot by Annie Leibovitz. Rachel arrived on set for the photo shoot and learned that both Scarlett and Keira had agreed to pose nude for the shoot, and so she was expected to do the same. Rachel said, nah, bye. Now, that's bold. I mean, people often talk about, why didn't actresses speak up in certain situations when they're mistreated? I mean, in this situation, Rachel just walked away from Vanity Fair, Tom Ford, and Annie Leibovitz. Those 3 entities collectively could kill Rachel's career, or at least severely hinder her career. The fact that she put her own self-worth and dignity above her career is pretty huge. And I'm not saying Scarlett and Keira degraded themselves by posing nude. I assume that Scarlett and Keira wanted to pose nude, so they posed nude, and that's awesome. Rachel didn't want to pose nude, so Rachel didn't, and that's awesome. Now, after all those high-profile no's and a 2-year absence from the big screen, Rachel chose 2 indies as her follow-up to her explosion in Hollywood. She appeared in the ensemble pieces The Lucky Ones and Married Life in 2007. I think I saw both of those, and I don't remember them either. Rachel says today, there were definitely some anxious moments of wondering if I was just throwing it all away, and why was I doing that? It's taken years to understand what I intuitively was doing. Honestly, it's pretty incredible that Rachel has been able to maintain being a Hollywood star while being so anti-Hollywood. Like, I mean, sure, she's done those prestige pieces that have been great. So there's like The Great State of Play, Midnight in Paris, A Most Wanted Man, the Best Picture winning Spotlight, which didn't deserve to win, but it got Rachel her well overdue Oscar nomination. But then she's done those, Hollywood schmaltzy movies like The Vow, Time Traveler's Wife, About Time, The Embarrassing Aloha. And then she's done that rom-com thing with Morning Glory, which is an underrated movie. And yeah, then of course she turns down Iron Man to only star in Doctor Strange like 8 years later. Maybe it's just a timing thing for Rachel? Now I know she has a little bit of the mentality that the other Rachel has, Rachel Weisz, her Disobedience co-star. And I'm paraphrasing here because I have no idea when Rachel Weisz actually said this in an interview. But I know Rachel, after her Oscar win and the Mummy movies, she was very, very deliberate in her movie choices because she didn't want to become a movie star. She wanted the freedom to still, delve right into a character and not have to worry about maintaining a persona with audiences. Julianne Moore is the shining example of pulling this off. Across her career, Julianne would do a big budget Hollywood movie to probably pay the bills and to keep her name a household one. But then she'd go and do all these indies that, won her all the awards and prove she's the best actress of her generation. So both Rachels have managed to pull that off as well. It's just a very tough thing to do to no, I'm not going to do all those Hollywood movies. I'm going to do this, and then I'll do a Hollywood movie every once in a while. It's a very bold approach, and the right one for sure, but I mean, it's just, you're turning down a lot of money. But yeah, there's a lot that Rachel McAdams gave us in this interview. From her look to her high-profile turndowns and walkouts, I want to hear what you think.
I know all you want to do is be like everyone else, but it's pretty much impossible. You're a snowflake, so just embrace it. And what makes you different is what makes you best.